And we're back for another episode of the Breaking and Entering podcast presented by Premium. Two games finished in overtime in the early window on Sunday, while another pair of games, uh, they were huge comebacks, including one of our teams here today. Got a lot to unpack today, but first, Ed, what's going on with you?
Nothing much, man. It's another day in paradise. You had a birthday, right? Birthday boy over here.
Yeah, man, it's always good when the Ravens win. Uh, at or around my birthday, it's always good. I suffered a loss last year around my birthday. It was the Miami Dolphins came to town, and we
Mm.
all remember what happened in that game. So yeah, I definitely was a little stressed out heading into yesterday's game, and I'll discuss that a little bit more. But yeah, they pulled out the win for the birthday boy
Yeah.
for sure.
Talking about stress. Yeah, we definitely gonna get into some stressful situations today. But yeah, man, happy birthday to you. Hope you enjoyed your
Appreciate it.
weekend. I just want to say I appreciate everything you do for the podcast too, man. So yeah.
Same, definitely.
All right, let's get into this opening drive. Steelers have lost defensive tackle Cam Hayward for the next 8 weeks after he suffered a groin injury in week one. The NFL is expanding practice squads with one extra spot to incentivize international player signings. This will begin next season, 2024. Former NFL reporter Jim Trotter has filed a lawsuit against NFL, claiming he was let go by the NFL because he challenged Commissioner Roger Goodell and others regarding the NFL's record of race discrimination and lack of diversity. In his suit, he also claims that he was told not to report that the NFL wanted the Bengals-Bills game to resume and that the league exercises control of NFL media to the extent that the league throttles content that is critical of the NFL. The NFL is filing a grievance against the NFLPA, alleging advising running backs to fake injuries as a negotiation tactic to get more money. So it's crazy stuff going on in the league
Oh
office
yeah,
that'll unwind, and we'll definitely keep you updated as we go along.
yeah,
Especially
that
that,
running back situation back in the news. Yeah,
yeah, we
go
talked
ahead. What were you
about
gonna say?
that, and it's
Yep.
coming back up. That lawsuit Jim Trotter filed,
Yeah.
he's alleging some stuff the owner said. He said the Bills owner Pegula, if I said his name, was saying they can go back to Africa. You can
Mm.
guess which players he was talking about with that statement. He also said that Jerry
Yeah.
Jones said, well, if they don't like it, they can get their own league and hire who they want to hire. So yeah, they're talking about Trotter's alleging they said these comments about the black players. So yeah, it's pretty serious stuff going on. We'll keep you updated as more information comes out though.
Interesting. And before we get to the games as well, that signing an extra spot for the practice squads next year for international players, I think it's something uh that's definitely good. But I think just think about all the injuries over the last couple of years. I'm surprised they still haven't upgraded the overall roster more than 53. I mean, because it's
Mm-hmm.
been 53 for quite some time. And even though you get, let's say, um, for example, the Ravens, J.K. Dobbins went down, so that spot comes open and you can fill it in, but it still has to be 53 on game day. It seems like, excuse me, with all the talent comes out of college, and again with all the injuries, it seemed like by now they would have expanded the overall rosters to more than 53. But hopefully that'll come soon, and I think that'll also give players more of an opportunity as well.
Yeah,
Um, to make a name for themselves.
yeah,
All right,
seriously.
for sure. Controversial into the Commanders Broncos game on Sunday. Ed's team is now 2-0 after a 35-33 road win in Denver. I know you got some thoughts on this one.
Man, do I. This, first of all, as soon as they said the 2 point conversion was no good, I turned the TV off because I was like, that was a flag. But hey, they let it go. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yep.
Everybody pack up. Let's go. Let's get the show to
You see
roll.
how you saw how fast Ron Rivera started walking towards the to give his end of the game
he
handshake. Boy, he
was
was ready to go.
he was
Well,
in
go
the
ahead.
middle of the field already. I don't blame
Yep.
him. I'd have been the same way. I was like, Ron, let's go. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
salute to Riverboat Ron. That was his 100th victory. Josh
Okay.
Harris, a new owner, he gave him the game ball after the game to congratulate on that. There's a little I don't want to say history, but there's the teams Eric Bieniemy, Vance Joseph, they were both players with Colorado. I think the 1999 season, and I'm sure everybody knows, but Ron Rivera and Sean Payton, they coached against each other back when they
Yeah,
both
yep,
coached in the NFC South. So they're familiar with each other a little bit, I think, as Sean Payton coached the Saints and Ron Rivera coached the Panthers, if people forgot. But yeah, man, this game, Riverboat Ron, that's a hell of a name, man. I was going through it this game. Well, that first half, I was tweeting from my B&E podcast page. A
yep.
blowout is looming. I thought it was over for a good minute there. We were
Hmm.
down 21-3. That first half, we cut it to 7 just before halftime. It's a crazy game. I don't know. I honestly think the altitude, I think they had to adjust to it that first half because
Yeah.
it seemed like every time they scored a touchdown, their receivers way faster than our defenders. I'm like, this dude Brandon Johnson, he caught the ball and just zoomed to it. I was like, damn, this dude running like a 4
Mhm.
flat. He was flying. The same for Marvin Mims Jr. when he scored his touchdown. I was thinking, man, Emmanuel Ford is about to have a long day. But that second half came, we started tightening up, playing a little better. Sam Hall was getting the ball out faster. We protected him a little better. Ryan Robinson himself, he had himself a hell of a day. He had 2 touchdowns, rushed for 80 something yards. Real big for everybody. But that D line, once again, we hang our hat on the defensive side of the ball. Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, Chase Young played today. He had 2 sacks. He had some
Yep.
penalties, but he made an impact out there. I'm glad to see him out there. I'm glad to see his name was called, making plays as well. But yeah, man, going to the end of that game, I just had a feeling. I was like, that Hail Mary, I had a feeling. I was like, watch these clowns go let this happen. And lo and behold, tip drill. This dude catches the
Yep.
ball in the end zone. I'm just like, typical. I mean, just typical. And I was fully expecting them to convert the 2-point conversion, but they didn't. St. Juice made a play on the ball, broke it up. Um, they were talking to who was it, Gene Signator. They were like, Gene, what did you think about it? I was like, yeah, I thought that was a penalty. I was like, yeah, Gene, I kind of agree with you. But hey, we got the W. We're 2-0. This is the first time we're 2-0 since 2011. That comeback we had, the 18-point deficit, I believe we had, that's the largest we had since 2015 when Kirk Cousins was the quarterback. I'm sure everybody remembers that. You like that? Yeah, that's the last time we had a comeback that big. So salute to the Commanders, man. It's a good team win. We got the Bills next week. We cannot, I repeat, we cannot shoot ourselves in the foot and go in the hole with the deficit like that again. We got to play consistent from the start. We can't have these tele 2 halves that we seem to love to have. So hopefully we can come together this week and game plan well for the Bills. They will definitely show up and show out against us if we come in there with some BS.
Yeah, man, that Commander's defensive line is a problem for real, for real. 7 sacks wasn't even enough to describe what type of day it was for Russ Wilson, that offensive line. He was under
Yeah.
harassment, definitely in that second half, but all day, honestly. With that being said, y'all's offensive line is also a problem, but not in a good way. Okay. Definitely, got to work on some things there.
Yeah.
Sam Howell went down 4 times in that game. Scary Terry, though, just a couple key points here before I get into it. Best receiver in NFC East. We talked about it last year.
You
I
convinced
just got
now?
to give him. Hmm?
You convinced he's the best receiver in the East?
Yeah, I mean CD Lamb had a big game
Yeah.
Sunday, but
Yeah.
I thought this last year as well, and I don't know if I said it on this show or not, but I definitely said it talking to some people that he's the best in the NFC East for sure. But yeah, I mean Eric Bieniemy, I know there's some sort of awards that that's not like that AP Coach of the Year, AP MVP and all that stuff, the big ones that we always talk about.
Yeah.
Because I know the Ravens won a lot of them in the 2019 season, but Eric Bieniemy should win Offensive Coordinator of the Year. I think it's like Assistant Offensive Coach of the Year, how they title it, whatever. But
Yeah.
he should definitely win that based on how y'all's offense is putting up points and how Kansas City looks without him. That's definitely saying something. But yeah, that Hail Mary at the end of the game to Brandon Johnson, tipped 3 times before Johnson secured it. I think the best part of it, in my opinion, was when they showed Sean Payton. It was like they, you know, they, they was like, okay, it's good, whatever, right? Touchdown. And Sean Payton just big smile on his face. He's calling the next play.
Right.
It's like he was so excited, man. But and almost like that facial expression too was like, oh shit, it worked. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Denver still has issues across the board. Russell Wilson, though, he looks good, man, when he gets some time out there. And that's a couple people was talking about that, today on the sports shows. It was like this goes back to show y'all that it wasn't him last year, it was Nathaniel Hackett. And they got into the Jets situation as well, which we're not going to talk about the Jets in depth today, but they definitely have some issues as well. We're starting to see that one is quarterback and Nathaniel Hackett get back to the Broncos. But yeah, like you said, your team 35 points were the most score since 2020. 18-point road comeback was the largest since 1990, and the first time since 2011. You're 2-0. So hats off to y'all for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I do want to say there were a couple of throws that Russell Wilson had that benefited us. There
Mhm.
was one throw he had to Jerry Judy. If he would have caught that, if he would have put it on right, Jerry Judy probably could have got a big game, but Jerry Judy had to adjust for the ball. It was let's say second or third down, but it was late in the game. Jerry Judy had to adjust for the ball and couldn't get to the first down mark, and that helped us out a lot. So Russell Wilson did look good, but I am seeing I guess you could call it decline. I don't know what it is, but there was a couple of throws out there. I was like, damn, Russ looked kind of crazy out there. But yeah,
Yep.
we'll see if they can turn it around. It's getting kind of hot out there in Denver. Sean Payton, this ain't a good start for you, buddy.
Yeah,
Not at all.
for sure. All right. Turn your page still on the West Coast, Midwest, whichever. Historic comeback for the Giants in Arizona on Sunday. The G-Men, they won it on a last minute kick there at State Farm Stadium. If I'm a Cardinals fan, I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened. How did we lose this game? No fumbles, no interceptions, but their defense in the end it failed them in the second half. Because Joshua Dobbs and James Conner, man, I've been I think I mentioned in our season preview how James Conner needs to come on for this team for them to do something, especially with Kyler Murray being out. He had a down season last year. Didn't do too good in week one, but he came alive in this game. 23 carries for 106 yards and a touchdown. Excuse me. Those guys were lighting up the Giants defense in the first half, and we was thinking, at least myself, uh, the Giants might get shut out again. I mean, they was down 20-0 at half. Um, they did come out and score early, straight out of halftime. But yeah, speaking of halftime, I mean, Brian Daboll and his staff did exactly what all coaches try to do at halftime, make those halftime adjustments. We always hear that on the broadcast when we're watching the games. What is this team going to do coming out of the half? How are they going to respond from this? How they the face of adversity and all that type of stuff. Jalen Hyatt, the rookie wide receiver, came
Mm-hmm.
alive. Darren Waller did his thing. Saquon, unfortunately, he got hurt, but he was,
Yeah.
making some plays as well. Isaiah Hodgins, they're all huge factors in the second half for the Giants. But bottom line is, I still three times don't trust Daniel Jones. But it was a good win for their morale. But if I'm a Giants fan, which I kind of am, with my dad being a Giants fan, very concerned being down 20-0 against the Cardinals. Okay, this is a team that a lot of us probably picked to be the worst team in the league heading into the season just because of Kyler being out, the turnover and all that stuff. Um, I had some hope with the Giants heading into this season, but man, I mean, with the NFC East, all the teams are 2-0 except for them. It's looking like they might end up at the bottom of the division. What did you think about this game?
Yeah, I tweeted out from our B&E podcast page on Twitter. I was like, the Giants can't get shut out again, right? This is about
Yeah,
when they were
yep, I
down
guess yeah.
20-0. But they, like you said, they put it around. They scored all their points in the second half, 14 points in the third quarter, and 17 at the end in the fourth quarter. It looks like they was like, man, just let's just take it off. Let's just take the reins off Daniel Jones. Let's just throw everything at him. Let's
Mhm.
open up the offense. Let's start throwing the ball. Let's get him going. And he responded. He played well. He did get sacked 3 times, and I believe he threw an interception as well. But other than that, I mean, he's a dual threat guy. He did rush 9 times for 59 yards and had a touchdown. So
Yep,
he is dangerous
his
with his
average.
legs. Yeah, so I mean, I think going forward, this might be good for the Giants. I think this would be something that they can lay their head, put their heads down on and say, man, look, we came out, play like some trash. Before this second half, we were getting blown out. Going back to the last game, 60-0. They got blown out, whooped like somebody, like they stole something by the
Mm.
Cowboys 40-0, and go in this game 20 to zip. But they turned it around. I want to see where they can go from here. Like you said, everybody in NFC East is 2-0. They're 1-1. I think I said this division is going to be probably one of the strongest in the whole league. I think is looking that way because Eagles. I think they're going to do what they're going to do. That Cowboys defense is, my
Ooh,
God, boy.
man.
We're going to
Yep.
talk about them a lot this season, I feel like. And then the Commanders, that defense, my defense, we ain't nothing to slouch at either. We're gonna keep getting
Yeah,
better
for sure.
as Chase
Hmm.
Young keeps playing. This NFC East is gonna be a team, or excuse me, a division that your teams are not gonna have to take lightly. I think the Giants, honestly, I think they're going to be all right. They'll figure it out. I think Jalen Hyatt, the rookie, he's going to get more involved in the offense. He's a speedy, deep threat guy kind of guy. He caught a ball for 58 yards. I think if Daniel Jones would have put some more air under it, he could have scored a touchdown possibly. So I think once they get more relationship going, I wouldn't be surprised to see Hyatt step out to be even more deep threat. And then Darren Waller, he had a pretty good game as well. The defense side of the ball, I haven't heard Kayvon Thibodeau's name at
Yeah,
all. I'm starting to wonder if he's injured or not because I'm looking at their stat sheet on the defensive side. I don't see his name at all, which is shocking.
that's a good
Maybe he's
point.
waiting to
Yeah.
play against
Oh yeah.
Commanders. That's what he's waiting
He
on.
was
He's
out.
waiting to play against us. Was he out?
Yeah. He was out there, but he ain't no tackles.
Okay, so he
Yeah.
was out then. Yeah,
Yeah, he was active.
well,
Yep.
he was active, but he was inactive on the field.
Yeah. Yep.
So we'll see. I think I'm gonna try to see who they got next. Who the Giants got next? They
Oh, I'm getting
got
ready to tell you. They better
oh
pray hard. I don't know who they
they got
Giants
San
fans.
Fran Thursday. And they're gonna stay out. They're gonna stay on the West Coast too. So that's
I
probably
figured.
good.
Yep.
Yeah. Good luck to them. They're
Man.
definitely gonna need it. They
Mm.
definitely
And
gonna need it.
Saquon, from last I heard about a couple hours ago, he's likely out about 3 weeks. So that's just
Okay.
another dagger to them right now. I
Yeah.
mean, uh Matt Breida, he's not a bad backup, but obviously he's not a Saquon. So
They're gonna see how important Saquon is in his absence. I guarantee that. I
for sure.
guarantee that. But yeah, good luck to them. Ravens and the Bengals. Um, Bengals 0-2. Joe Burrow started the limp after the game. I think he re-aggravated that calf injury. He didn't have I don't even think he was able to, I think he had like 1 week of training camp, but he got
Yeah.
injured in training camp and then he wasn't able to go in training camp and he didn't play any preseason. So I'm not surprised that the offense is rusty. Like I said when we talked earlier this year, I thought your defense was gonna be a little bit better than your offense to start the season. You guys got a good game from Geno Stone. He had that pick. I saw he tweeted,
Yeah.
"Man, I should have returned it for a touchdown or something." And some of those guys are
Yeah.
kind of like, "Man, you ain't got no field vision." I thought that was
Yeah.
funny. Um, OBJ did go out with an ankle injury. Do you know
Yeah.
anything about that? If he's gonna be all while or not? You heard anything about that?
Did not hear anything. Harbaugh spoke today, but I didn't get to hear anything.
Okay. Zay Flowers, man, he had a great catch, a big play, great catch in traffic that he caught
Mhm.
from Lamar Jackson. I think
Yeah.
he's the other guy that you mentioned as your prediction, Jordan Addison, who's caught 2 touchdowns the first 2 weeks. He's looking good for rookie of the years, but Zay Flowers, man, that dude is electric. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins rookie of the year. But yeah, man, 27-24, Ravens beat the Bengals. I was watching a lot of this game because I had started Odell in my fantasy league because I thought Amari Cooper was going to be out, but apparently he's playing now. So fantasy man, if you ain't playing, don't play. This is a damn stressful
Yep.
game. But yeah, this is a good win for you guys. Lamar Jackson, he looked better. He played way better than he did this first game. He did he did fumble the ball. So he's got to be more careful when he's scrambling out there with the ball. But he played way better, made some good throws. Got Nelson Aguilar. He got everybody involved. Nelson Aguilar had 5 catches, got that touchdown, a nice throw from Lamar too. Mark Andrews caught a touchdown too, I believe, didn't he? Yeah. So I think you guys, the offense is starting to
Yeah.
get going. It sucks that J.K. Dobbins went down. Would love to see what you guys look like with J.K. Dobbins, but Gus Edwards and crew, Justice and those guys, they played pretty well. It's a good team win for you guys, and yeah, I think that defense. You get Marlon Humphrey back, you're going to get even better. So yeah, I thought this was a good win for you guys. I know you were probably stressed out with this game because they were starting to make a comeback. What did you think?
Yeah. Real quick before I get into that, we're gonna update our rookie or all of our player awards probably by middle of the season. But Zay Flowers is playing good, but this guy on Los Angeles with the Rams, Puka
Puka Nakua, yeah,
Nakia
Nakua,
Nakua.
yeah.
Okay. Uh, fifth round pick out of BYU. He is lighting it up, and I think he's
Man, what?
gonna snag it. Yeah.
He's setting
I
records.
was like, damn, second week in a row. And that's Stafford, man. Stafford, the
He's
bad
setting
man. He don't get a
records.
lot of credit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he that's the most catches by a player rookie in the first 2 games. Yeah, it's pretty. He got like 20
yeah,
something catches.
yeah. They get 15 on Sunday.
Yeah,
Unreal.
man. Oh yeah,
But yeah,
they hit the jackpot.
yeah, for sure. Out of nowhere. And we thought the Rams were gonna be some trash, and they're doing all right this year. But yeah, Lamar Jackson now 7-1 all time against Cincinnati. We finally beat them after the past few games. Well, week 18 and the wild card round last year. They said this was the first time. I think it was the first time that division or teams that played each other in 3 times within 4 weeks or something like that. With between the split seasons. But anyway, I'll be honest with you. I picked Cincinnati heading into this contest. Um,
Wow.
we just hadn't played well against them recently. I think we did all right in that wild card game. Of course, Lamar was out, as well as in week 18. But it just going into Cincinnati, heading into that game, they was honoring um, AJ Green before the game.
Yeah.
So the crowd was hyped up and all that stuff. I definitely do pay attention to that type of stuff when it comes to like morale heading into the game for the home team. But yeah, we came out with a clear agenda, man. It was run the ball and contain those wide receivers, and it worked. Joe Burrow had 35 passing yards in the first half, kind of was similar to his first week one stats.
Yeah.
Um, but it didn't help much on the scoreboard because Justin Tucker missed a 59-yard field goal, and then we gave up that long punt return for a touchdown, left points on the board. And in the
Charlie
second half,
Jones.
again, who's that?
This is the Charlie Jones. That was the guy who
Oh,
got y'all.
the returner.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. Oh, I hate I I guess because our coach is a former special teams coach, so like we've always been good with special teams, so like giving up those type of plays just really burns me up. But second half, like you said, I got scared. I did get nervous, man. Cincinnati got the ball first. They went straight down the field. Then, like you mentioned, Geno Stone stepped right in front of, I think it was T. Higgins, I'm not sure, but it was a beautiful interception. Looked like Ed
Mm.
Reed. He just, like you said, he can't run. So he got a few yards on the return, but not much. Excuse me. But from there, it just went in our favor. Um, we held all their receivers to less than 100 yards apiece, which is rare for us. And not to mention, we came in with a banged up secondary, so that's another reason why I didn't pick us. Still got to work on the penalties though, moving forward. Justin Matabikwe had another senseless personal foul right before halftime that backed us up, and that led to a field goal as opposed to a touchdown. And we
Mm.
also had 3 straight holding fouls as well before halftime as well. Um, so yeah, end of the day, we got a W, so it feels all
I
right
remember
out
that.
on the inside.
I remember
What's
that. I
that?
forgot about that. So you mentioned that those 3 holding
Them
penalties.
penalties,
Y'all was
yeah.
at
You
like
talk
the
about somebody
the
hot.
five
I
yard
was
line. Then
hot.
y'all was almost at the damn
Yeah.
midfield when
hmm
y'all was done.
Yeah. Don't make no damn sense. But yeah, got the W. I'll take it. I think we're second place in the division. Well, we might be
Hell yeah.
because either way, we're looking good right now. We got Indianapolis at home next week. So we'll see how the health of Anthony Richardson is heading into that one there for next
Yeah.
week.
For sure. Before we get to the next game, this episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures and mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and women owned. So come get some of this sweet temptation and taste the premium difference. Use code B and E for 15% off your order. Their website is premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, that's PREHEMIUM.com. Now let's get back to the show. Packers at the Falcons. This was a great game. Came down to the final wire. Brian, I want to hear your thoughts. What you think about this game? How you feeling about your boy Jordan Love now?
Um, Green Bay most certainly took a step back from last week. I know they were missing Christian Watson out there, but the absence of Aaron Jones has really hurt them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just wasn't enough with AJ Dillon compared to what they was doing a week ago. I like the play of Jordan Love on Sunday. He was
Yeah.
efficient with the ball, but it didn't add up. You know what I'm saying? They needed a
Mm-hmm.
lot more out of them. As for Atlanta, they're really shocking me right now to be 2-0. I definitely thought that they was not only the coach but the quarterback was on the hot seat as well. But lucky for them, they have Bijan Robinson, who's looking like he definitely deserved to be a top 10 pick. Not that anyone thought otherwise. Uh, 19 for 124 on Sunday. And then Drake London continues to make spectacular plays all over the place. And they just fed off that crowd, like I said, with that Cincinnati game going into it. But Atlanta, I turned to it at the very end of our game when Green Bay got that ball back and they had a chance to go down the field, and Jordan Love and them just couldn't move the ball. But came down to the second best kicker in the league, Young Ho Ko, for the game winner, one of his 4 field goals on the day. Um, so yeah, good win for Atlanta. I think it's a step back for Green Bay. I definitely picked them heading into this game, despite the fact that they was a little banged up at their skill position players. Um, their defense, obviously took a step back as well. So we'll see how they
Mm-hmm.
look moving forward. But I definitely keep an eye on this Atlanta team now. They caught my attention. I know it's only 2 games, but still.
Yeah.
How about you?
I was surprised. Jordan Love had a good run. He looked pretty fast. I didn't know could move that well when he's scrambling. But
Mhm.
yeah, Falcons are impressing so far. Like you said, Bijan Robinson. I want to give a little shout out to Tyler Algier too. Their
Yeah.
running back. He was a rookie last year, but they got a great 1-2 punch going on right now. Hopefully, they Desmond Ritter gets Kyle Pitts a little bit more involved, just because fantasy purposes, I got Kyle Pitts. You
Yeah.
mentioned Drake London, who didn't. I don't even know if he was on the stat sheet last week, but he definitely made up for it
Yeah.
this last week. He caught the touchdown and was able to get some receptions in the game as well. Desmond Ritter, I thought he was a game manager, but he actually came out there, came from behind and got his team a win. So shout out to them. The Falcons defense, they got, like we said, they picked up Jesse Bates and I forgot the other guy they got from the Bengals too. His name slips my mind right now. But that Falcons
Von Bell?
defense, yeah, is it Von Bell? I know it's two of them. I think it is
I'll
Von
double
Bell,
check.
yeah. But that Falcons defense, I think they're gonna not give up as many games as they did last year. I think the Falcons are gonna be competent. We'll see if they can win the division. I still like the Saints a little bit more, but 2-0 is a good start for them. Desmond Ritter, as long as he can keep improving, I would like to see him throw the ball a little bit more. He did have some bonehead plays, some head scratchers yesterday, but they got the win. They got the job done. Drake London's getting involved. If they get Kyle Pitts involved, I mean, they could do some things in that division. So definitely good win for them. I was leaning towards the Falcons just because you said Aaron Jones and Christian Watson are out. I thought the Falcons would do a
Mhm.
little bit better, but I was surprised with Jordan Love and the way he performed out there. He looks all right. I think he'll be decent.
Yeah.
I still need to see a little bit more from him, like
Mhm.
him win a game, but he didn't have his best players out there with him. So, I think he did well for himself in the meantime, even though they took the loss. But yeah, Falcons 2-0, Packers 1-1. we'll see how these teams go forward in the season for sure.
Definitely. All right, let's look at some other scores from week 2. The Eagles beat Minnesota 34-28 on Thursday Night Football. Bills crushed the Raiders 38-10. Seahawks, they topped the Lions in overtime 37-31. Titans, they edged the Chargers in overtime 27-24. Bucks improved to 2-0 with a win over the Bears 27-17. Kelsey and Jones, they returned for the Chiefs as they claimed victory over Jacksonville 17-9. The Colts, they dominated the Texans 31-20. 30-23 was the final in SoFi for the 49ers over the Rams, and the Cowboys destroyed the Jets 30-10. Any of these games stood out to you?
Definitely the Titans Chargers game. Both of the overtime games, Titans Chargers, the Seahawks
Yeah.
Lions. Tannehill rushed for a touchdown in that game. I was surprised they pulled it out and got the win. Brandon Staley, your seat is hot, boy. I don't know if you're gonna make
Oh,
it out of the season if you keep losing. Your
yep.
seat is hot. Eagles beat Minnesota. Can we say that Justin Jefferson? I don't know if we talked about this, but can we say that Justin Jefferson owns the Bears receivers? Because he has more receiving yards than any Bears in their history, which is nuts to me. He's got over 5,000 yards receiving. And yeah, that's more than any Bears in their franchise. I'm not joking. What other
Wow.
games that let's give a hats off to the Bucks for being 2-0. Who would have thought they would be 2-0?
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, they look like a pretty good connection out there. Mike Evans had himself a hell of a game, over 150 yards receiving. He had that good 70-yard catch and run. Didn't get a touchdown on that play, but yeah, man, the Bucks 2-0. Todd Bowles, salute to you, man. Hopefully y'all can keep it going.
Mhm.
Colts and the Texans, Anthony Richardson, he looked good in that game, but then he
Oh,
got
yeah.
that concussion. This is the second
Yep.
week in a row he had to leave the game. He's getting banged up way too early in his career.
Mhm.
They're gonna have to figure that out. CJ Stroud, even though they lost, I think he put up some numbers. I think they are like they can kind of breathe a sigh of relief, like, okay, this guy looks like he can play. So I think they're happy with
Yep.
that. And like you said a couple weeks ago, you said the Chiefs gonna have to pull a hat out the bag or a rabbit. I forgot the exact term, but you're like you got to pull a rabbit out the bag to get Chris Jones back, and that's
Yep.
exactly what they did. I think it's a lot of people are surprised how good the Chiefs defense is. I mean, they did give up 3 touchdowns against the Lions, but one of them was a pick six. Other than that, they've
Mhm.
been playing pretty well, and now with Chris Jones back in crew, I think that Chiefs defense might be a strength for them, surprisingly, because the
Mhm.
offense, I think they're missing Eric Bieniemy, like you said earlier. I think they're,
Yep.
oh well, he didn't call plays. It's all Andy Reid. Well, they looking kind of rusty right now. Maybe it's the receivers. Maybe
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey got to come back, but I don't know. Missing Eric Bieniemy, I do think they're missing him a lot too. But yeah, pretty good week so far. What did you think about the rest of these scores or these other scores, I should say?
I I tell you what, if you want to get on you on the slide later in the year and you want to get back, you play the Raiders. I mean, Josh Allen came in with 3 interceptions last week and flipped it around. He just did a complete 360 and 3 touchdowns, look flawless out there against the Raiders. I started to lock them in my picks league, but I locked the 49ers. They won
Mm.
as well, but I was surprised how good the Rams did against them. Um, Even though the
Yeah,
Rams
they
played pretty
legit.
well in week 1, yeah, but that game was pretty close as well for quite a while. You
Yeah,
mentioned the Colts and the Texans. If CJ Stroud gets himself an offensive line, or if they could figure it out soon, they'll make some noise again. Like I said, I think that the Texans can make some noise in the AFC South for sure. But Anthony Richardson, yeah, he's the real deal. They just got to keep him healthy as well, or he's got to figure out how to try to avoid some hits, like they used to say about LJ early in his career. But the
mm.
Chiefs and the Jaguars, I think we all thought that was going to be a little bit more of a higher scoring game.
Yeah,
Jacksonville
you're
just
right.
came out flat. Kansas
Yeah,
City was honestly flat for most of the first half as well, and they pulled away right there at the end. Uh, I'm surprised that Kelsey kicked that celebration where he kicked the ball in the stands. I'm surprised that wasn't a penalty. I thought that you couldn't do that type of stuff, but I could be mistaken. just a side note. But and the Cowboys defense, man, for
Uh,
sure. I mean, they had an easy task against Zach Wilson. That was just like a gimme game. Uh, Zach Wilson is definitely going to be the Achilles heel for this Jets team that has Super Bowl aspirations. Tough break for Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but yeah, they just had no answer down there in Jerry World for sure.
yeah. I want to go back to the Raiders for a second because Chandler Jones has been out. He's been inactive the first two
Hmm.
games of the season. There's something going on there because he posted a text conversation with Mark Davis and he made some allegations too. He said that he found out that his goddaughter is being molested. So I have no clue what's going on there, but I hope everything works out for him. Chandler Jones, whatever you're going through, man, I hope you get it worked out because that's some crazy stuff
Yep,
that's being alleged over there.
for
Also,
sure.
getting off the NFL, did you happen to catch the Colorado game this weekend? Because that was a crazy game. Colorado versus
I
Colorado
watched.
State.
I didn't watch the entirety of it. I watched probably about, I want to say, definitely till about halftime, I believe. But yeah, I definitely heard one hell of a game for sure.
Man, I'm all in because I was cursing up
Same.
a storm more than watching my Commanders play yesterday. That game was.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be tuning in again next Saturday. Unfortunately, Travis
Oh, for
Hunter,
sure.
they're saying he's
Saturday,
gonna be
3:30,
out.
3:30 Eastern.
Yeah,
About
I
3 weeks,
can't
right?
wait. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I believe it was a
Yeah.
lacerated liver with that late hit he got from
Yeah.
the Colorado State
Yep.
defender. So yeah, but
And
yeah,
they're
man.
saying that he's getting death threats. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I saw
Or his
that. I did
family
see
is?
that. Yep,
Yeah.
they posted his
It was definitely a dirty hit, but I'm sure Prime is going to address the Boulder Nation or whatever out there. It
yeah,
could be anybody, but Prime going to set him straight. Say, hey, because I think he mentioned something before the game. He was like, we don't want any violence. Saying come enjoy the game, this and that. But when he speaks, they listen. So whether it's to the team, obviously nobody in the team did it, but or to the fans, whatever,
yeah.
um, they'll
We'll
get
see
that
what
straight.
happens
But
with
yeah,
that. But
Colorado definitely looks good. What are they ranked now? Because I didn't even see the new uh
I'm not sure.
rankings.
I
Do
know they
you?
were 18th before, but I'm not sure how.
Gotcha.
Who knows if they because if you blow a team out, I think you go up in the rank. But if it's a close game, I don't know if your ranking changes that much. We'll definitely keep it sure.
See
I'm
if
gonna
I can
be
pull it up.
tuning in for sure. But yeah, that was a rough game. It was getting real chippy, a lot of penalties. If you were on the East Coast, I can imagine why a lot of people went to sleep or didn't see the second half because the game ended at around 2 o'clock in the morning East
Yeah,
Coast time. I was getting
double
tired, and
overtime. Yeah.
I'm on the West Coast out here. The game ended at 11, but it was a long ass game. Players, both sides were getting injured. One guy on the Colorado State side, it seemed like he was getting injured like every series. Kamara is his name. He's one of their defensive ends who's having a hell of a game before he got ejected because they caught him with targeting. He hit Shador kind of late in the it was either the fourth quarter or the overtime. I think it was the fourth quarter. It kind of led with the crown and wrapped him up and put his full body weight on him. So they gave him a targeting penalty, ejected him for that. So it was definitely a chippy, emotional game, I want to say. But Colorado got
Mm,
the win. This is their third win, their second
third one. Yep.
and their second like down to the wire win. So this team definitely when it's clutch time, they can perform, especially Shador Sanders. He had a
Oh man.
98
Yeah.
yard drive to force a touchdown, and he had to convert a 2 point conversion. So I mean, this dude, his stock
Yep.
is rising and rising. We'll see how
For
they do
sure.
without Travis Hunter. I think that might be a huge loss for them because he plays both ways
Yeah.
and is very impactful on both sides of the ball. But we'll definitely see how that goes going forward.
Yeah. Colorado is number 19, like you said. They dropped. Um, you predicted they likely dropped because of the wasn't a blowout victory for them. But
Yeah,
yeah, just get into the whole uh Dion vibe, for lack of better terms. Like you a bad man when you got 60 Minutes on CBS,
yeah,
a news magazine show features you, and not only do they interview you and all that stuff, but they're basically promoting it as come back and watch our season debut or whatever. It was their first episode of the season for 60 Minutes on CBS. Uh, it was all about Dion. You know what I'm saying? College Game Day was there. Of course, First Take was there. Like,
Yeah.
the bad man. So yeah,
Only
they
thing
definitely
I'm
look
kind of
good.
concerned about is if this stuff is going to be a distraction for them. Because I mean, they had Little
Yeah.
Wayne was there, The Rock, all these celebrities are showing
Mm,
up. I wonder if that's going to be a distraction for them or not. Because I'm sure they would rather prep a little bit more. I'm sure Dion would rather be in the locker room getting his guys ready than going out there doing a media scrum. But so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm definitely
for sure.
along for the ride. I'm walking with y'all till the wheels fall off. Colorado and Dion
Same.
for sure.
Same.
Still go
You
blue
want to
though.
get into these
Michigan.
you want to get into these player awards back to the pros? Did you have
Yeah,
any?
let's do it. Let's do it.
Got you. You want to take it from here?
So the let's start with the offensive players of the week. My offensive player of the week, I have to give it to Christian McCaffrey. He had a great game against the Rams, rushed for want to say a little bit more than 150 yards, and he scored a touchdown, I believe he did, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Christian McCaffrey for my offensive player of the week. What about you? Who you got for offensive player of the week?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, in that if you want to get right, you play the Raiders, man. Josh Allen, he went from 3 interceptions in the season opener on Monday Night Football to 31 for 37, 274 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's my offensive player of the week.
Got you. I'm mistaken. He didn't. McCaffrey only rushed for 116 yards, but yeah, he had a long run of 50 yards. Defensive player of the year or of the week. Um, I kind of want to give it to the whole Commanders defensive line. They got 7 sacks off of Russell Wilson, forced a fumble, got a pick on him too. Just a great overall game. If I had to give it to one person, I'm gonna show some love to Chase Young just because all the stuff he had to deal with the injury rise. He came back, had 2 sacks. So I'm gonna be a homer with this one. Give it to Chase Young for my defensive player of the week. Who you got, Brandon?
Defensive player of the week, I'm going to go down to Tampa Bay. Shaq Barrett. He only had two
Mm.
tackles and a sack, but it was his late pick six that propelled
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay to a victory against Chicago and the Bears.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to special teams player of the week. You might not like this one, but I gotta give it to that punt returner for the Bengals, Charlie Jones. It was an electric play that woke them up. I honestly thought, uh-oh, is this gonna be what turns them around?
Yeah.
So yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
shot him out. Sorry.
No, respect for sure. I'm gonna go back to Atlanta to the Dirty South. Young Hoku, um, second best kicker in the league in my opinion. 4 for 4 field goals and the game winner there for the Falcons on Sunday afternoon against the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love.
Bonehead play of the week. I gonna have to give it to my long snapper, and I'm gonna just give the whole crew, the kicking crew, for the Washington Commanders. But Cameron Cheeseman, the long snapper for us, um, he had a bad snap, and Joey Sly, he kicked it. I'm pretty sure somebody in the crowd caught it because he definitely was nowhere near the net. I tweeted he missed it by a mile. So yeah, bonehead
Yep.
play of the week. It goes to Cameron Cheeseman and the special teams unit, Joey Sly, including that as well. But mostly on Cameron Cheeseman for the bad snap. Who you got for bonehead player of the week?
All right, we both keeping it with our teams. Ravens and Bengals. Baltimore, we have the balls. The first play of the second quarter, 3rd and 3 from our own 15-yard line. LJ in the shotgun takes a snap. He looks right at Justice Hill out in the flat. For some reason, he decides to take it for himself. Okay, no problem. LJ does that all the time until he decides not to secure the ball and he fumbles. I think you mentioned the fumble earlier in
Yeah.
your prognosis of the game. God help me. Uh, thank God, though. Cincinnati, they committed a penalty, which gave us a first down, and the turnover didn't count. But LJ, come on, man, you've been turning the ball over a little bit too much for my liking. Uh, Got to get it together, man. That was my bonehead play of the week. Um, Before we go, I don't know if you saw this or noticed this or heard this. The 49ers and Rams, Brock Purdy and Matthew Stafford. It was the first time that a quarterback taken number one, obviously Stafford, faced off against a quarterback drafted last, um,
Wow.
and Brock Purdy. Yeah, that was very interesting. And besides Matthew Stafford's two interceptions, I think he had a pick six.
Mm.
Um, they both played pretty good. So that was a good little nugget and a um,
Yeah.
something a lot of
I
people
mean,
didn't. I didn't know till I saw it online after the game.
Niners look legit, man. They looking like I wouldn't be
Mm,
surprised they go undefeated the way they looking right now. To be honest, I know it's still
yep.
early. Let me pump my brakes, but they look efficient both sides of the ball. Purdy, he did have some throws that he overthrew yesterday, but other than that,
Hmm.
this dude, man, like I said, second to coming to Steve Young, Joe Montana. This dude, man. But
And
yeah,
the thing is, like, how do you stop Christian McCaffrey, man? That's just like crazy. I don't. Well, yeah, we got to play him on Christmas Day. I was getting ready to say I'm glad we don't play him, but I forgot we play him on Christmas Day in their damn stadium. I
yeah,
hate primetime games and I hate holiday games. It's a double whammy.
yeah.
A lot of football to play until then. That should be a good matchup though, if everyone's
Yep.
healthy.
And there's still a lot of football at night. There's a doubleheader. There's a game going on right now. I think both games are about to be underway.
Mhm.
Saints and Panthers and Steelers at the Browns. If I had to make a prediction, I'm gonna lean towards the Saints and Steelers Browns. I'm gonna go with the Browns. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Browns. How about you? How you think these two games are gonna go?
Yeah, I picked the Saints as well. I went with Carolina last week against Atlanta. They burned me. This will be their home opener, but I'm going to take the Saints. It's starting off a little slow right now, as we can see. And then that Steelers Browns, that AFC North, it's going to be physical. I did pick Cleveland just based off how they played last week and how Pittsburgh played last week too. That was a embarrassment. And but I saw something. I think the Steelers have won like 15 straight home games on Monday Night
Mm,
Football. Stat line came through just about within the past hour. So that's kind of concerning me as my pick is pretty much locked. It's only a couple more minutes before I can change it, but I think I'm gonna stay put. I think the Browns have really impressed me in week one. Uh, I know sometimes when I pick the Browns and they do well, and I pick them the following week, they tend to burn me, but I just can't
yeah,
rock with Pittsburgh right now based off last week, man. I know they played San Fran, but still. And they haven't been a Pittsburgh hadn't been the same at home since they changed the name of that stadium. Since they lost the rights to Heinz Field and
mm,
changed it to whatever the hell it is now, uh, they ain't been the same at home. So
yeah.
give me the Browns.
And Deontay Johnson, they're one of their wide receivers out too. He's a pretty big part of the offense. So we'll see how that
Mm,
impacts him as well.
gotcha. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us another episode of the B&E podcast. We'll be back on Friday for a preview of week three. Season going by so fast, man. Already. uh be sure to follow us on Twitter and IG. Like I said, he'll be tweeting out during the games. I tweet out recaps of games and Sunday slate and all that stuff. And reach out to us if you want to join us on the show one day. We'd love to have you all on here. Till next time, love one another.